I need to get a
We're-
chair that
we're
fucking
past
shoots
it.
you to the ceiling. Has like a like pressurized air in it. You just fucking like crank it and then shoot you up to the second level of the desk.
I hate that this bit is proceeding as far as it is. Hi, Jake.
I thought you were just gonna say, I hope I need a shit.
I
Here's something I want to talk about with Ivy real quick before we even get into interview.
you'll have blooper reel.
Yeah, blooper reel. The whole thing's a blooper reel. Ivy got really into caves recently, and now I'm seeing on Twitter she's talking about climbing. I thought she meant some bullshit weeb video game type shit, but actually means literal climbing. Crazy.
Yep, she's been complaining to me to do it all day.
I think she's like training for a spelunker arc. Like
So like, did you not know I used to climb?
I didn't know that.
I was like a
How would I
collegiate
know
climber. I don't know. We're friends. I was on the I mean it didn't last long, but I was on the NKU climbing team.
NKU. Fun.
And I did a couple competitions, but I wasn't like in like the big circuits or anything. By the time that I was like actually climbing hard, I was already like I had already dropped out of college. But I used to go to Lex to climb all the time.
Well, I do not do that shit. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, Ivy's a climber. Hello, Kealy.
He's a climber. Hello. Hi
We're
there. I'm finally here.
Yeah, this will in the order this is coming out and even being recorded. This will be the first episode of 2023. First episode of season 3.
Oh.
Woo!
Oh. All my begging paid off. I got a big one.
you were on the Oogie Boogie hour. I listened.
I was. That's true.
Yeah.
I was the first one there too. So I'm keeping my place. I know what I am.
Yeah. Apologize for the first episode of the new season. My appearance here on camera. It's been a rough day. This is what we got.
Work will do it. Work is doing what it'll do to you. It's okay.
Yeah.
We still love you, Ivy. It's all right.
Mondays, am I right?
Okay, Garfield.
that?
Anyway, yeah, I just want to say that this episode is sponsored by a brand new Patreon, someone named Simon. I asked them if they had any like Twitter handles or anything, and they didn't respond. So if you do, please respond to me on Patreon, and I'll shout you out on Twitter. But yeah, brand new Patreon. Thank you for joining the Patreon. We're at 7 patrons, and at 10, we're starting a Minecraft server, baby.
Oh shit! Real gamer hours.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
You know, we're gonna have like a Minecraft night or something like that for it. But yeah, 10 patrons.
I will download Minecraft for that.
It will
You know
start
me, I fucking love caves. Minecraft got all those caves, baby. I'm ready. Ready.
and that will be available to everyone. You know, no matter what tier, $1 or $5, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's all my self-promo bullshit that we got. Let's get into the interview. Kealy from New Witch's Tongue, Sorry, period, and Makoto. Probably
That's
other
the one.
stuff. But those are the ones I know.
Tons. Yeah.
Let's get into the Batman Begins of Kealy. Well, like, you're Christian Bale right now. I'm Ra's al Ghul. What's going on with the beginning of your music career? How do you get into music?
This is always my favorite because people, I get like, as a preface, I get two different sides of answers in this.
Yeah.
People are either like, oh, you've got to be the most grassroots DIY, like you were cutting your teeth in punk clubs doing heroin with the crazy guys. And like, people think I'm either that or I'm this like sheltered, like trust fund baby into music.
Because
Because
on the New York Times Nepo baby
Yeah,
fucking cover.
like people think it's one or the other
Yeah.
for the sheer reason of like, you know, I'm 27 and I tell tour stories like I'm like 65. So I like nobody ever like asked. They're usually just like, oh yeah, so like your music scene must have been like real something, huh? I came up in South Florida music. South Florida music.
Florida Georgia
The co-
line.
the 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 South Florida music scene is like very well known for the hardcore that happens
Oh,
down there because Miami's got a really well known punk and hardcore scene. Florida's really well known for having a lot of bands that are from there, but they never claim it.
okay.
Like unless they're asked, like you
Yeah,
if you think about Limp Bizkit, how many people are going to be like, yeah, Limp Bizkit's a Florida band, unless you're like
but
really
it
in on
makes
the
sense though.
lore.
It makes sense
It,
though.
it makes perfect sense. And there's a ton of Florida bands that you would think would make sense. But like in that context, Florida just breeds this like special musician that's like not meant to be there. So I came from a scene of a lot of like really talented people growing up. And even like I started in cover music was like I was a kid and my dad loved listening to classic rock and whatever. So when I started taking lessons and my teacher was like, "Hey, we're doing group classes where we play shows," my dad was like, "Oh, y'all playing Zeppelin? You playing Rush? Let's go. Let's get you there."
Oh, wait,
Then you
wait.
did.
So
Hold
I
on.
did.
I'm recording, but it's not fluctuating. Sorry. Give me one
All right,
second to
you're good.
make. I want to make sure we're
This is the
actually.
troubleshooting part.
Who's
The
yardage?
guitar
Yardage.
player of Yardage,
I shouted
the
him out
song
in
caller ID.
yeah. When we were doing honorable mentions at the end, shout outs.
Oh
I
my god.
Yardage was one of the singles.
My my fucking
The
brain was
very end.
soup at the and like.
Don't you edit the podcast?
You think I hang on y'all's every word?
Damn.
I'm looking for ums and uhs. I don't give a fuck what y'all are
Hell
talking
yeah.
about. But yeah, it did record the audio, so we're good.
Excellent. So the
But
TLDR, since all of that got hilariously messy, is that I came up in a scene with a ton of different like music types, and I started in a weirder part of music by like it went from taking guitar lessons and being really into guitar. Like I went from Call of Duty and like, very basic shit being like the norm, and then it turned into like it turned into wow, music was kind of cool. I learned this anime opening track. This is neat. I should keep learning songs. Because I had a guitar teacher, I learned some songs. I fell off for like a year or two
fell
because he
off.
moved. Yeah. And then my mom was looking around to get me back into it, and she found a school that was like near my middle school at the time, and was just like, "Hey, can you just try a lesson with this guy? He came recommended from your old teacher. I think he'd be good." And the guy ended up teaching me everything I know on guitar. His name is
Nice.
Lou. Crazy like 60s style shredder, like only plays strats and like boomer guitars, but that dude will play circles around boomers, like super cool guy. And he took me in. He was doing this group program, but he was strict. So he was like, "Hey, you're not good enough yet. When I think you're good enough, I'm gonna give you an invite and I really want you to join." I'm like, "Okay, but you said I'm not good enough." He's like, "Yeah, but I think you can be. If you get good enough, I'll let you do it." So
Listen,
I got good.
you fucking suck now, but when you don't suck, we got you. You're in. Like
Almost
free
literally.
package.
He was like a very heavy hand like that. Like he'd be like, "No, you're playing like garbage. Like you're playing bad today." So like I got better. I was motivated, like, because he was positive. At least he was like, "I want to give you something, but you got to get better." So I got motivated and I just like got really good. And he's like, "Okay, join the performance program." So I start gigging with them. We'll do first. It started like recitals at like very basic, almost school garbage. Like, "Oh, this is a show. I'm putting together covers with a band to play a gig." And then it started becoming, "Hey, we booked you at a restaurant instead. Do you guys want to play there on a Friday night?" Sure. So that was like my first gig taste experience, and that was like the bug. It was playing shows because I got into like at a young age, I got into Nirvana and like watching Kurt Cobain smash guitars and live DVDs and shit. Like the hype and the craziness and like that that boost of adrenaline that I saw in live music was what got me to like, okay, I don't care about the recitals anymore. I want to go play shows. Like I want to gig and get out there.
Yeah.
So I start gigging the covers, whatever. Covers start going well, and then I start my own cover band to just do our own separate thing. We covered Led Zeppelin.
Whoa, cool.
Uh,
What's that
and
band?
our
Greta Van Fleet. Don't they
might
just do
might as well
that?
for how young we were, we might as well have been, but we were actually playing Led Zeppelin music, not ripoffs.
Is that
Um,
where that video that you showed me of like old
yes,
Kealy set, that's from that? Is
yes.
that, can you find that? Is that
Oh,
out there in the
I have it
ether?
on. Yes, I have it on lock. Um,
Unlock.
so like I went through that phase and that didn't feel good enough. I was like, okay, playing other people's music is like cool, but like I'm writing my own stuff. I was getting into like A Day to Remember and like pop punk
Yeah.
at that time. So I was like, oh, I want to make like I want to make screamy music. Like I want to make heavy stuff. So I learned how to scream
Yeah.
and I started like writing these like shitty bedroom metalcore songs. And I got enough like friends from like the little group classes who felt the same way. They're like, we want to play shows, but we don't want to play covers anymore. I was like, what if we started a fucking metalcore band? And that was my break
Finally.
into the local scene. Yeah, we 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 wrote music for like 2 years, and we thought we were awful for a while. And finally, it's like senior year of high school for all of us, and we're like, hey, we feel good enough. You guys want to try and book it? Like, it was the local Rocket Town. I was like, you guys want to book at the skate park and see if we could get a show? And they were like, yeah, sure. I messaged one guy, literal first message. He's like, actually, I got an opening 3 weeks from now on a Friday. You want to come play the show? And it was like this stacked, for South Florida's standards, it was like a stacked local show. We just hit him up at the right time. This group of teenagers to like go play
Yeah.
Rocket Town on a busy bill, and that like thrust me into all of this. Was like I was 16 and like a deer in the headlights. Like what is happening in front of me? Oh my god, this is crazy. Music is cool. Holy shit! Now I know music sucks, but back then I was like, whoa. And then that led us to here. That was like the humble beginnings, the Batman origins.
Yeah.
I still think that Of Mice and Men cover is pretty solid. Okay,
No,
okay.
the
I would
stick
say
stickly one.
no. Fuck the stick stickly one.
No, no,
The
no,
Of
no.
Yeah.
Mice and Men
You
one
did
had
second
such
and
good.
Sebring, didn't you?
We did and stick stickly. Yes,
Uh,
as generic as it gets. They're on the.
shit,
It'll
dang.
get. I'll send it to the Mutant Puke Discord. I will. I will put it out there into the ether.
I think, yeah, that's your call to action, people. Join the Discord. See that, whatever that will be. I'm sure it'll still be
That's it.
good. Like, I'll be like,
No,
there's nothing to be embarrassed about here.
I'll say the.
I was like 16.
I think the screams are good. I thought you nailed the screams.
That was me, yeah. I didn't do the
Yeah.
clean scene. We had our 13-year-old bass player, young little kid who was also like a scene kid, just into the music, like
Yeah.
just bought a bass, was like, oh, I can chug, and he's like, I got a 5 string, so he'd take the B string, even if it was out of tune, and just be like, chugga-chung, chugga-chung, chugga-chung. I'm so cool. Like now he's a pop artist in Orlando.
Aren't we all? You know?
It's my new
Shouts
career
out Josh
endeavor.
Gluck.
So, in your Batman origin story, what would you say was your parents dying? What's the equivalent to that in your story?
What was the equivalent of the parents dying? Fuck me.
Was it maybe you moving and then your mom finds a new music
No.
teacher? Is that no?
No,
I might be
the equivalent
misremembering what you said.
the equivalent to the parents dying was me, I guess, like, so when I stopped doing covers, my parents were like bummed out because they didn't like screamy music. They're like, oh, you're really good at music. Why do you want to do like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They know
so
there's
they
no
would
money
beg,
in it.
yeah, and I refused. Like back then, I was just like, again, so deer in the headlights that I was like, you know what? I really want to do this, so I don't want to play covers. I want to just do this. And they were like, just do both. They were doing the sensible thing, but to me, as
I
a shitty
prevail. Our
teenager,
last night.
yeah, as a shitty teenager, I was just like, no, you guys just want to stop me from expressing myself. They're like, no, we want you to do both. But then I bailed out. So that was like my parents' dying moment, was them like cutting off support, was like, okay, you want to go do your own thing and gig and go play these different clubs and not like actual good venues? Fine, go find your own rides to shows. Go do your own. So I had to like DIY it. None of the band members had licenses yet. I didn't have a license or a car. We're begging friends like, hey, you're 20 and are playing this gig at the same time. Do you mind picking me up 40 minutes out of the way and I'll pay you gas money to take me to the gig? Like,
Damn.
and mind you, we sold tickets to these shows too, so we couldn't not show up. Like we
Yeah.
sold tickets, people were gonna be there, so it was like it was like a fucking Neanderthal scramble of all of us call. Can you please drive me from such and such a city to this city because we got to go play the gig? And like we found a way, we made it work.
My mom won't take me to the gig. Can you guys pick me up?
If ever the word talent farm came up, or RIP to the goat of South Florida, my parents wouldn't drive there because I lived 50 minutes from there. So they were like, if you want to play a gig down there, go find your own ride. So I'd beg, hey, can you? I'll throw you $20 in gas. Please come pick me up and take me to the gig and take me home, or I'll find a way home or something. Like that was my parents' dying like Batman moment was all transportation getting fucked, and I just had to figure it out.
I realize that I cannot ask that question again because what if your one of your parents was dead? You know?
Oh,
First of all, it'd make a great reply, like, well, my mom's dead. So that would be a big one. But um I've lost my
I can
train
make
of
the
thought.
easy joke. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna make the easy
Yeah,
joke.
I realized when I said it. I think I made like a surprised chipmunk face because I made the connection. Um, let's get back on track. Makoto,
hell yeah.
that's a
Makoto.
project you're not doing anymore, correct?
Hiatus.
Hiatus,
So
okay.
we're working on music to make sure that we finish an LP that we were working on, but as like a functional, like going out doing stuff band, yeah, we're hiatus. So
Okay,
existing, not existing. But yes,
gotcha. And
R.I.P. the goats.
I was listening to it earlier. It is like completely instrumental, right? I don't
yes,
think I heard any vocals. Yeah, it's
we
good stuff.
tried. So
You
thank you.
tried. What happened?
So when we started, Makoto's like backstory was I was in a ton of bands, and then like I don't know, things just got murky after like being so busy, and just like a lot of like drama happened. So I was like, hey, let me take a break. I took a respite out of the music scene and just
Mhm.
like went to shows and was just a bystander for a little bit. Cause like
Yeah,
I was playing, fucking 3 sets a night, every show,
you
three of
got
my
burnt
bands would get
out.
booked because yeah, every band I was in was getting booked on the same show. So I was like, holy shit, I'm dying here.
Yeah.
So I took a little break, and I was kind of just feeling really down about music stuff. Like I started writing my own music and I still felt bad about it. And I was like, I want to do like riffy post-hardcore, but I don't think I'm good enough to do it by myself. I can't write it alone. I don't feel confident in doing this. And one day out of the blue, my roommate here, Pete, hit me up and was just like, "Hey, I'm trying to start like we had done a project previously, like a Midwest emo-y thing. He was like, "Hey, I'm trying to like make music, and I really like the way you make music. Me, you wanna
Yeah.
you wanna link up?" And I was a little hesitant because he threw me off guard with it. We were talking about it. I knew him as a drummer. He was in like a bunch of Midwest emo bands in South Florida as a drummer. So I was like, oh, like, can you play like that? I've only seen you play one way. I don't know if you can play the other way. He's like, oh no, I'd be playing guitar. I'm like, I don't know, dog. I don't know that you play guitar like that, Like so we took it on a whim because we had worked together. So I was like, I trust you enough that like let's try it. So I went over to his place, and he had sent me a demo that was just his guitar, and I wrote bass and drums over it, and we liked the idea. So I was like, let's flush that out in a room together. Blows me out of the water. He can shred, sweep picking, solos, the works. I go in there thinking I'm gonna be like top shit tour experience, like this tight guitar player. Is like the second we sit down to start writing. So that was like the start of this destructive friendship of like I wanted like Terra Mellos, noise rock, math rock, constant time signature changes, like complicated music. And he was like, how can we make that accessible for people to like jam to it and still be weird.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to, it was constantly, I was like, hey, what if we did 60 guitars in this one part with fucked up pedals? He'd be like, how about we do two fucked up tracks and then a normal one? And we kind of learned to balance each other out. And when we got to the phase of writing, we had like three songs. We were like, we should get a vocalist. We should get a singer because a singer, you know, we thought we were in that Swan Quarry realm. A singer would round out this sound.
Yeah.
We tried out one person before we were like, fuck this, just instrumental. Like let's just do us. And then we tried again. We tried out I guess it's public knowledge because he said it in an interview, so I don't mind saying it. Jay from Cat Company tried out for Makoto briefly,
Yeah.
and we made a couple cool tracks. We got along as people, but in a working sense, the relationship just did not click and pan out.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was like our nail in the coffin of like the one time we tried with someone we were hoping was going to work. It didn't. And we said, fuck it. Like, let's just stick to who we are. We gigged and toured as an instrumental band. Let's just fucking do that. Like,
I mean, instrumental alone, it's a very full sound. I think, it's good as it is. I don't think it needs a vocalist by any means. But if it did, you did like want to enter that swancore kind of realm. I think y'all would have been, kind of standouts in terms of instrumental sound.
I think even
yeah,
now, like, there's definitely that standout sound. Like, I go back and I listen to that shit all the time. Because, like, before I pulled Kealy into my bullshit projects, like, I
Talk
was a
about
our
fan
that.
of.
origin story. Yeah,
Yeah.
our origin story.
Yeah. Before I pulled Keely and all that, I knew Keely through Kodo and Daisy because I think like Daisy was like booking a tour and like looking for bands to play. So she turned me on to Kodo and then like fucking the rest is history. But I was drawn to it because it almost has like the way that it feels accessible to me is that it has almost like a video game kind of vibe to it while still being like a fun, interesting instrumental sound that I feel like a lot of bands miss because they all just want to be Chan, you know?
Yeah.
That was what we were afraid of. Was that was a big influence. So it was like, how do we take that influence, but not just have everybody come up to us after the gig and be like, "Yo, oh my God, you guys sound just like Chan." It's gonna happen. How do you avoid that? Was kind of everything that we went for, especially because they're not our biggest influence either. Was like, we don't want to be pinned as that when that's not all that we do.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't get Chon or Strawberry Girls from the sound at all. I'm
I'll
sure
take
there's
that.
notes,
I
but
mean, hilariously, this I'm pointing. This art piece
yeah.
is the original print of the single Honey Ginger that we did.
Ooh,
This was the original piece. I
cool.
keep
Yo,
it on my wall because that single fucks.
not
Not
to
to toot my own
completely
horn.
derail the conversation. But speaking of background pieces, Jake, what the fuck is that back there?
Ooh, well,
A little sign.
that's my shelf.
Nah, not
Oh,
next to it.
Um, what does it say? Gay? Something about being I'm gay, probably. Yeah, Claudia
Yeah.
wrote that a long time ago. I forgot.
amazing.
I noticed it like 5 minutes ago, and I could not stop laughing.
I think it's backwards too, right? The video.
No, I can see
No,
it.
it's coming up correct here.
Interesting. Okay.
Good.
Good bit.
Yeah. So, what
Love
the
that.
fuck were we talking about? You've derailed me. You've
Origin.
derailed me.
Sorry. Makoto. We were talking about Makoto.
Makoto. I liked it.
Thank you for thinking that.
I am not an instrumental guy usually, but yeah. Just
It's okay. So one of the things that we used to like at first I tried to brag about it in a meme sense and like try to take it as our bit. And the further along we got with it, the more that I started to resent the bit was we had three guitar players.
yeah.
But to make it worse was we had three guitar players all playing different amounts of strings. We
Okay.
had a 9-string player because we wanted keyboards, but we didn't want to commit to a full keyboard player with all the gear, all the setup, everything. We couldn't find somebody. So we got a 9-string player with pedals. Can
Same
do
thing.
almost the same thing. Then I switched to a 7-string. So we had a 7-string, a 9-string, both with extra tuning and whatever. And then we had a six string that only played in one tuning. So we were switching tunings. The lead guitar was in one tuning the whole time. And then we had a five string bass. You had a stage flooded with pedals because we had huge pedal boards like assholes. You had the drum set with the sample pad on it. It was like it filled itself out just by being obnoxious. Like
Yeah.
that was always our goal, was to just like stage volume, what you hear is what you get. We don't care. Like we don't need any extras. We can fucking do whatever you hear on a recording.
Yeah.
So that's how we got that instrumental sound to not be, I guess, the same as everybody else. Was we just said fuck it.
Now, are you a producer? Like, do you have you produced other people's records? Because I've seen the name Koto Sound before attached to you. So, what does that mean? What is Koto Sound?
Heck yeah, I love a reason to promote myself because I don't do it properly ever. So,
Yeah.
um, so Kodo Sound Audio is a thing that I started working towards in like the middle to the end of 2020. Um, I started pursuing like audio engineering mainly. I didn't want to do like the mixing and the extra steps. I just wanted to be the person that pressed record, set up the microphones, got the special tracks, and that was it. That's where I
Yeah.
wanted to draw my line. Because I'm super interested in like guitar equipment and like audio equipment. I play multiple instruments, so I like drum stuff, I like bass
Yeah.
stuff.
Hardware.
So yeah, I got really into the process of just like recording. I liked the recording process as a whole. And over time, I started doing the Makoto demos while we were talking about what studio we were thinking about going to like do a full length, and my interface died. And that was like my little two track. It had like two microphone ins and an instrument that allowed me to track our demos, and I did everything with it. And when it died, I sat and I looked at my wife and I was like, "Hey Tiff, what if I got like a big 8 channel interface and started like recording drums?" I started, taking recording more seriously. And she was like, "Well, your demos sound good." She's like, "Everybody tells you that your demos are really high quality." She's like, "I don't think it's a bad idea." So we went to Sam Ash that day because we have a Sam Ash credit card in the most irresponsible way. We drove to Sam Ash that day when my shit broke, and we were like, "Hey, let me get this Focusrite interface that's got 8 inputs."
Well,
And I started doing demos, and then I fell in love with mixing. I was like, wow, not only is the putting the mics on stuff cool, but then sitting there and making the song sound good is cool. And that kind of just snowballed into, wow, this is just interesting. I should do this.
yeah. Yeah.
So now it's here.
You got like a business email or plug it a
Yes.
little bit.
Oh yeah, more plugin. Yeah. I didn't know if there was anything in between. Yeah. So like, I do pretty much everything. I use it as my umbrella to promote. So I do my session work as that. I do, if you need touring musicians, I do it as the studio name. It's Kodo Sound Audio. Any production thing you can think of, mixing, mastering, being a producer, just recording, engineering and setting up your mics for you, tech work, anything under the umbrella of music, be it produced or live sound, is kind of what I'm going for. On Instagram, I think is the only social I have for it, but by the end of this, we'll plug my own socials. You'll be able to find me somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but I also do live sessions, which has been the biggest, most popular thing I've done. As I have bands rolling through on tour that just come in. We set up
Really.
in my living room. We get the microphones set up all nice, and we track a live session, just how they play, how
How
they run a
cool.
set. Yeah, and we mix it from the top down. We get a full production mix, and then they get their stems, video. We do as much as we can in a living room. It's a super super neat thing that I never expected in a million years to do.
Do those bands just post the videos themselves or are they attached to like a YouTube channel or something?
Typically, it's posted themselves. The We did 4 this year. None of them are out yet.
Hmm.
But the audio itself is done. It's me and a partner friend, Connor. He was in a band called Never I in North Carolina. He doesn't have a studio name yet. But Connor Vaught, good dude. He's where his studio is where we did the New Witch's Tongue drum tracks in South Carolina. Uh, he met me, I want to say 6 years ago on his first tour ever. He was like an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
His band went on tour. They played South Florida. My band got booked to open. We met, we all hit it off, and when I moved to North Carolina, I was like, "Hey, how close am I to you?" He's like, "Oh, you live an hour from me." So we've stayed in touch, and he was like, "Hey, I have a really nice camera. You do good audio. What if we put
Yeah.
the heads together?" It's kind of like the Makoto thing. He's like, "What if we put the heads together here?"
Yeah.
So we've got those cool live sessions. I just did one for a band from Chicago, Sawamura No Hitter, who, if you don't know them, I'm gonna plug them hard as shit. They're really good for like punky stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that comes out. They were saying like next month, so
Yeah.
that'll be neat.
Yeah.
But I do it all. There's records coming out. I did the Makoto split that's out. I did Hyper Olympic side. They recorded here. You name it in that realm of music stuff. I've put my foot in it. I did the sorry stuff. I guess that
Yeah.
that should have been the one I led with. I produced that.
Let's roll into that. Sorry period. Why the period?
Sorry, period.
I've been meaning to ask Kev this. Like, what does a period mean? Is it just a aesthetic thing, or is it artistically mean something to you?
So I love that because our reason, like I've seen Pulses explain it before, like
Oh,
just like passing tweets or stuff, like they'll do
yeah.
like just quick fire answers about it, and our reason is so different.
Really?
Um, so theirs is like it's meant to be part of the name. They wanted it to be part of the look and the brand and the thing,
Yeah.
and that's more than reasonable. That's a reason to make yourself stand out. Ours was a disagreement. Was the band name Sorry came to be back in like 2015. Steven, the vocalist, and myself tried to do a metal project together. Um, I was super busy because I was in a million bands. We did one demo, it fell apart, never did anything with it. We tried again, same exact thing. Did one demo, fell apart, never did anything with it. He gave up on me and tried with Hyro, the other guitar player of Sorry. Uh,
Okay.
he put he put together a full band. He had a drummer, bass player, two guitars, the works. They tried, they did two rehearsals, fell apart, didn't work. I
Yeah.
begged them to join, and they told me no because Steven was like, "You're in too many bands. It's gonna fuck it up. I don't want it." Uh, so then in like 2020, I took one of the songs we wrote together the first time. I was like, "Hey, this demo's still pretty good. You want to do it?" He's like, "Yeah, fuck it, sure." So we tracked like Scream demos, and I sent it to Hyro, and Hyro's like, "Yo, he's trying to start Sorry again. Fuck you." I was like, "What is Sorry?" It's like, "Oh, Steve came up with the band name Sorry when we were together, and we thought it was sick." And I made a joke. I was like, they all make fun of me because there was a point in time where my entire personality was worrying about aesthetic and aesthetic choices.
Yeah.
So I made a joke, and I'm just like, the only way I'll join a band with the two of you and do it and call it Sorry is if it's Sorry with a lowercase s and a period at the end. And they were like, "Why?" I was like, "Because it looks pretty." And they're like, "Fuck you, you're annoying. You're so lame." And the more we thought about it, they're like, "God, we really like the name Sorry." I was like, "My condition stands. It has to have a period and lowercase s." And Steven was like, let's hear them out." So like we just typed it out, and I think it was fucking Times New Roman is the font that we use for everything. It's like one of the standard Microsoft fonts.
Yeah.
And we typed it out with the period, and they were all like, "Yeah, fuck it." Like, "Yeah, sorry with the period." So when we went to go make all our socials, we were like, "We can't do just sorry with a period." So we're like, "Sorry underscore period." Make it a fucking point. Like, put it in there.
Yeah.
So that is how we ended up as sorry period.
um, it's one of those band names where it's like I'm surprised no one took it. I was honestly assuming it was maybe
Uppercase
there was
sorry period is
already
a thing.
there. What? Wait. What?
Uppercase S sorry period is a thing. Lowercase sorry S does not exist out there, and that is what we're riding on.
So
It's
there
allowed.
there is a band called Sorry with an uppercase S.
There's uppercase S, no period, sorry. There's uppercase
Uh,
S, period, sorry. And then there's lowercase s, period, sorry,
your
which is
band name is just the same as another band's name. What do you mean? It's the same name. The
it's different. We got
punctuation
the
cannot count.
lowercase s.
No, I was talking about this shit the other day. Like, because I've seen bands where they do that. They have the same name as another band. So you go to search them up and you're like, where the fuck are you? Like, this isn't your music. And I was like, am I the only person when you come up with a name, you're like fucking Googling that shit and being like,
Yeah.
no one else better have this name anywhere.
We just said fuck it.
When
We
you
just went for it.
When you come up
Fucking
with a good
ball.
name, Googling to see if someone has already taken it is so hellacious. It's like, God
Oh,
damn it,
that's
I
awful.
don't want to look, but I know I have to check. I was so scared looking up Mutant Puke, but there's just a bunch of puke mutants out there.
Oh shit.
Fucking
That's why I
idiots.
don't name songs for bands or I don't name bands. Like when I join bands, I'm like, somebody else figure it out. And they're like, oh, you're going to help us. I'm like, no, I really don't. I'm bad at it. I'm so
Naming
good.
songs.
Naming songs, I'm great at. You can ask.
Oh,
I think
God,
everyone
great
is
at
like,
that.
I think anyone could be a professional song namer. Quite honestly.
Oh,
Sorry,
no.
fungus man.
Have
all
you
out of
have you
dongle.
heard the sorry song names?
Yeah, Bind and Hunger.
Oh no.
No, the
Oh,
demo
n-
names.
Well,
So-
those don't count. Those
So
don't
the
fucking
demos
count.
come from me, and they're not allowed to be final names because normally I just like okay. So the demo name for Hunger, right? Hunger's demo was called "Sorry Bungus Man, All Out of Dongles." What Ivy
Normal.
just said.
Yeah.
It was from a Discord call. Hyro and I were sitting there, and I was like, dude, I can't write today. I have no inspiration. It's gonna be shitty. Why are we doing this? I was like throwing a fit.
Yeah.
And then I wrote the intro riff, da 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 da, and then I wrote the whole song in one sitting. We finished it in that Discord call. So when we were going to save the project file, he was like, "What do we call it?" And I was just like, word generator, sorry, Bungus Man, all out of dongles." And I pressed enter, and he was like, "What the fuck? Like, what?" Like here, some of the demos in the folder, Femboy Waste Management was just words that came to the wall. Oh, this is my favorite one. Everybody loves this one. It's when weed, when it, and it goes when, and it when goes it.
A classic. Really just
It
like rolls off the tongue.
Oh, the other one, TikTok Cock and Ball Torture, Spring Break
Oh, yeah.
2K22 Uncensored Edition.
Wait, I think you were onto something with that. That's a hitbox title, honestly. That's a hitbox song.
I just kind of like throw shit at the wall and then press enter, and then whatever it is, like I send it to the chat. I'm like, all right, here you
I
guys
really
go.
like the most recent demo.
Oh, we can't say that here, but it's good. The most recent demo title is real good.
Why can't you say it?
I mean,
In
we
regards
can say it.
Cybergrind, we could say it.
Oh.
It just know it involves Cybergrind. Sorry's going a weird way.
Cybergrind. Big money Cybergrind.
I'm just
Okay, I don't
saying.
Surprised that isn't. I was surprised
just
that's a
saying.
project that doesn't exist yet. Big money cybergrind.
Big money Cybergrind is a thing.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's like a
Yeah.
Twitter page. I don't know if it's a band, is it?
I don't. It's not a band. but
Okay,
it
yeah.
is
It's
most-
just like a
it is
Twitter
most
page
certainly
that
a thing.
they kind of just hype up Cybergrind. That's sorry. Is there any more sorry lore we should know about? Any tidbits that you think might be interesting
God.
to the people of the world? Kealy?
Uh,
Kealy, do you have anything interesting to say? Is your wife
I have.
does your
nothing
life
but
amount to
interesting
anything? How about that for a
No.
question, huh?
It doesn't. It doesn't actually.
What's your legacy gonna be?
This just became an interrogation.
Really bad.
Have you seen
YouTube
Paddington
videos.
2?
Yes, it's awful.
What?
0 out of 10.
No.
0 out of 10 for
No,
Paddington.
he's a little bear. He helps people.
I feel like that's something that's some real Keely lore. Worst takes ever. Always.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get a question about that. To be honest, I'm surprised I didn't get hit with one of those.
Well, Ivy's fucking here. She should have asked it.
Ivy, you got the floor.
Oh God. Where do I even begin with this bitch?
Especially because Ivy stayed in my house and hung out with me in person, so it's an extra layer of worse. This
No, you
room
were
where I'm
like,
shooting in right now is where she slept.
that's the thing though. Like you were really nice to me in person because I was super stressed out to fly there and then record this song because I hadn't record vocals with
That
anybody
was
else
so
except for
nice.
Daisy. So you were like extra nice to me because I was super nervous. You didn't even like force me to play or not climbing. Jesus Christ, I got it on the brain. You didn't force me to play any fighting games. We played like
I
one
begged
night of
once.
Melty. We played
Yeah,
like
I asked
one night of
one.
Melty. And then the last time that you played fighting games while I was there, I got drunk and watched K-pop music videos with your wife instead.
Normal.
But
If loves K-pop.
the most recent bad take that I feel like Kealy had was the Hell the Sun album rankings.
Oh, here
Interesting.
we go.
I'm curious. I
Kealy,
have my own opinions.
You want me to go? You want me to list them
yeah,
off before Ivy starts going getting mad about it?
Is this like
yeah,
an
go
S
ahead.
tier, A tier type of thing, or?
Yeah, it's kind of like best to worst.
Okay, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
so we were discussing it. While Ivy and I have a similar taste in like one or two albums that we think are the best, we immediately fall off on what comes right
Can
after.
can I just say that I think the public's opinion for Hail the Sun, this is just a guess, probably Wake or Testosterone
Well, yes,
or
Yeah,
yeah.
Testosterone,
absolutely.
Wada. Yeah,
Elephantitis.
that song.
Yeah,
Elephantitis. Yeah.
the song you're
So
looking for is Testosteranosaurus.
That one, yeah.
that one. So for me, Wake is number one.
Yeah.
I think that they've made a lot of incredible music. I don't think they've made anything that has touched that kind of songwriting for them. And that happens to bands where it's just like that at the time, that's what they were feeling. The record came out that way. You can't help that. That's just
Yeah.
what was happening. Wake is one of those records that like they really hit something special with that album.
It's unfortunately like their second record though. So
Yeah, like
the
I got
precedent
into them.
yeah.
I got into them after the first album, so I skipped the first LP, Power Right and the Kisser. It's never really been for me, mainly because the songs are okay, but the production is just bad enough that I'm like, I don't want to fucking listen to this.
I
They
have
have
that
other
on
records that sound very good.
I have that on CD. I think it's somewhat rare. I don't know.
Yeah, like it's just an older record, and I
Yeah.
mean, like it's nothing against the songs. I think the songs are good, especially because they've redone a couple as like demo forms. There's good ideas there. It's just when it comes to the listening after that, they went to so many nice studios and got really nice quality. It's hard for me to go to their like shit quality stuff after having so many
Yeah.
years of great music. Like,
Sure.
so Wake is one for me. Elephantitis is a close number two, but Elephantitis is like, that's what got me into Hail the Sun. I'd never heard a drummer that could sing and play that fucking insane garbage. Like, incredible. So Elephantitis is up at number two. Number three, I would probably put out of everything they've released, Ivy. With releases, can I put a single, or does it just need to be the full releases?
I mean, when we first talked about this, it was the full releases. We weren't talking about the
I
singles.
know, but there's one
Because
single that goes in between. Devastate and Recalibrate is like that would be number three if it wasn't just full releases.
that's fair. That's a good
That
song.
single is very good. Yeah, and that one didn't get like a separate release or an EP or anything. That was a single by itself. So
I think
I
that's
would say,
fair to say to put as its
yeah,
own
it's
thing.
since it didn't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets its own. So I would say Wake, Elephantitis, Devastate and Recalibrate as a single. Then I would say New Age Filth, or I'm sorry, no, not that. Other way around. Then after Devastate and Recalibrate, I would say is Mental Knife, then
Oh,
New Age Filth, and then Secret Wars at the absolute bottom, and then Culture Scars below that.
you're the fucking worst.
Listen, Culture Scars has a lot of song. Entertainment Lies is one of my favorite Hail the Sun songs. Burn Nice and Slow is one of my favorite Hail the Sun songs. That album does not stand to the rest of their records in the slightest.
So I can okay. So I'll give you the fact that I am very biased on that record because of when it came out. But you can't dog on Secret Wars like
Secret
that.
Wars is
Secret
kind of
Wars-
a good EP.
It has
That's a
one good
banger.
song to me. There's one song on there that's goated beyond compare, and then the rest of the record I could throw away, and I don't care.
And the last time you didn't even say the name right. Come on. You said
Oh yeah,
1109. It's 1109. Come on. Fake fan.
What?
You can't
Okay, I would
even.
have called it 1109 too. New Age Filth.
one one
I think that's a
one
good
one oh
record.
nine is fantastic. I thought New Age Filth was a good record too, but comparatively, I liked Mental Knife more because I felt Mental Knife was closer to Wake than anything they've ever done. Mental
Interesting.
Knife was the closest thing they've done to Wake since Wake.
I thought
And
Secret
I know
Wars was pretty close to Wake.
like
See?
bands grow and change, but that's also because of the timing. Remember, Secret Wars was right after Wake. Secret Wars was like their next major release after Wake.
Donovan
That's
straight
not
up told
true.
me that it was like a spiritual successor to Wake. Like it
Culture
was,
Scars is the next album after Wake.
I
yeah.
don't consider that one because it's at the bottom of my tier.
You can't just not consider it.
It gets skipped.
You do have to
No.
deal a little bit with the reality of.
Well, and
This
that's
is what
it's
I'm
even
saying,
worse.
Jake.
It's worse that I just said that I like songs like Entertainment Lies and Burn Nice and Slow are high on my list. Gratitude's high on my list. I like the singles on that record were fantastic. The record as a whole, I can't get through it. I can't listen to it top to bottom.
I
I
don't
have
like
to punch
Culture
out.
Scars. I don't think.
I don't either.
I don't like it at all. But
So
yeah,
it's at the bottom of my list.
my
Great,
top
great record.
three probably Wake, New Age Filth, and Secret Wars.
New Age Filth
No.
has Domino, and Domino's a big one. Domino's like a very big return to form for them.
I don't know. I got Wake, Elephantitis,
Construct. Oh, go ahead.
Secret Wars, Culture Scars, New Age Filth, and Mental Knife at the bottom.
So wrong. Mental Knife is so good. Mental Knife is really, really well done.
I'm mixed. I listened to it once and it didn't grab me, but I didn't hate it. But you know, it could be a discogtopsy in the future. Hail
See,
the sun.
yeah, that I think for Mental Knife for me was I fell entirely out of love with like the swancore and like because I don't want to say swancore as a genre because it's a goofy name as a
Yeah.
sub thing. Like I fell out of love with that area of post-hardcore for a little while just because like I was burnt out of all the music I was doing was like that, you know, I just got tired of it.
Yeah.
So in that time period was when those records were coming out. So I just like it's not it's like all right, cool, you're doing the same thing everybody else was doing in 2016. Yeah, and those records just don't stand out for me in the same way. But then Mental Knife was like one of the first coming back into that sound that I was like, oh fuck, Hail the Sun's still doing good. Hell yeah, like that one pulled me back in. I think that one got it.
I'd like to make a note though that at the very least, like when Kealy and I interact with each other because we talk all the time, it does sound like we fucking hate each other. We don't. This is just how we
so
interact.
love.
Great
Yeah,
friends.
like we're so sweet to each other.
Even if we
crazy.
like
Yeah.
shit on each other, it's all love. Like
It'd be funny if you treated every guest we had like this.
no,
Oh,
Shane's
I'm
on
a special case.
these bitches.
no.
No,
I
I'm special.
could you imagine like next guest, at least who you told me is coming on? Like I fucking can't stand the way you like things.
What even is a spidussy? But
Spadussy.
spidussy. Let's move on to kind of what you're going. Obviously, Sorry is also like a parallel project going on, but New Witch's Tongue. Obviously, you're put out
the
Ghost
baby.
Girl. This year at the time recording, last year at the time of release. Tell me about Ghost Girl. Tell me about New Witch's Tongue. We've heard Ivy talk about this shit. Ivy's old news. We want to hear Keely's take on it.
Oh yeah, because I was supposed to be here for
Yeah.
that release, and then I was on tour, so I couldn't be.
You were in a
Okay.
you were in a
was in
fucking
a
van.
van.
It sounded like you were Woody in Toy Story, where he's like in the back seat of the car.
So yeah, so I was not here to be able to express that, but I was in the night that came out. We played in Brooklyn, so I was in Brooklyn with Jamie. So at least I was with part of New Witch's Tongue when that happened. That was cool. Ghost Girl happened really fast by my doing. I kind of came to Ivy like a fever dream nightmare.
Great.
And I was and I was like, hey, so Sorry's gonna release our songs when I go on tour, so I can promote it on tour because I'm filling in.
Yeah.
I was filling in for Ahmed Yeti, and I like just came to Ivy and I was like, if I'm producing, Sorry's done already, so I have time. Like this was had to be June or July of this year. I was like, I'm not going on tour till October. So you have time for me to finish this, for us to set up prep and to put it out. Can you do it? Can you pull it off and have it done? I was kind of like an asshole about
Yeah.
it. And I was like, my other band is going to have shit you want me to promote. Put your money where your fucking mouth is. Let's do it. Like, let's put a single out. And it was like 50% a joke, but also like, hey, you really want to do it? I'll do it. Try me. And so from there, it was like I did the guitars for the demo, and they turned out really well. So I one day was I think we determined was like end of July to August. I set up all my drum mics. I just had like a impulse moment. And I was like, let's set up the drums. Sure, let's play drums today. So I was like, I need to do demos for New Witch's Tongue and we need the drums done. So I'm going to track drums today. So I tracked for two of the songs, one of which being Ghost Girl. It was a brutal session because it was the middle of summer. It was 90 degrees in my garage with no fan because the mics would pick up the noise. I threw up. It's great. And I came in to listen to the drum tracks and they were so good that I was like, yo, we can use these for the single. And I sent like the rough edit drum tracks and Ivy was like, yeah, mix it and see how it sounds. We got first rough instrumental mix and she was like, yeah, we can fucking do this. Like, sick. So she started talking to me about like getting a trip up here and we were very haphazard. Like, I don't know if we can do it. Maybe we can do it in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, like very last minute, just get her up here to do vocals. And we canceled one time trying to do it, and it was the middle of August, and she's like, hey, can I come first week of September? Let's just bang it out. Let's do one song while I'm there and demos, and fuck it, let's get it done. So she came up for like I think it was a Wednesday to a Sunday we did, right?
Yeah, it was
And
like
shit.
5 days.
Yeah.
I think that was like a long weekend actually.
Yeah, we didn't do any like other demos. We just focused on that one song, but like when we were in here, it was like no breaks, no like rests. Like we sat in here. I think the first day was what, 8 hours, 8 or 9 hours,
Yeah.
with like one or two standing breaks. And then the second day where we were finishing the main stuff was really short, and then we did a really long day for dubs and screams. We started mixing before Ivy even left. So she got home and she's like, "Oh, I'll give you some time. Like, just try to have us a mix in 2 weeks so we
Yeah.
can start to prep the release." And then I think what was it, 4 days later, I sent you the first
Yeah.
mix. I said I went like hardcore tunnel vision and I just like banged it out. Sent the first mix. We went through only like two or three mix revisions, and then we had the Ghost Girl that is out there now. I pushed her real hard and I talked shit and I was like, "You're not gonna finish." And she's like,
Yeah, like
for anybody who's just listening, I'm flicking off the camera because that's what Ivy did.
Yeah.
yeah, like we're fucking definitely like the menaces of the band. Like ever since
Big
like
time.
Kealy hopped on, it's just been like insane grinds. Like we're in like DMs planning out like 2 years in advance and just like and it's all serious too. Like it's not even like we're fucking around. Like it's complete menace hours in there, like fucking practically 24/7.
Yeah.
The year of 2023 is fully planned, not booked, but it's planned for touring.
Yeah.
Take that for whatever you will as a leak. But the entire year for us, like what our plans are for 2023, are in place. We're insane. Like we've got a whole calendar year planned out right now.
Jesus. The
So the
grind set
single
is
came,
insane.
yeah, the single came together in the same exact way. It was like we just got that one push of motivation that we needed, and I was like, let's get on a voice chat call. And 4 hours later, we had like an Excel doc full of shit and plans that we wanted to do. Like it's just, that's how the single came, was just that I'm a snowball and a wrecking ball, and when I want shit done, I want shit done. So the second Ivy put the ball in my court to do the instruments, I was like, fuck it. Let's go. Everybody hurry up. To fucking be on pace. Let's go. Like,
Yeah. Wow. So, do y'all know when you want to put out the record?
Do you want to say?
Well, I'm not, you don't have to say. I'm just
I'm
wondering
not
if you know.
I'm not gonna put out anything
Of course.
too much, but I will say that we are aiming for a bright and sunny season in the year of
Yep.
next year for a real sweet more songs than an EP. I'll fucking tell you that.
Yeah. And I'll also say I've gotten some emails back from a few people, so we got some other cool shit coming down the line. And that's
2023
not
and
even
the
yeah.
early to the middle is about to pop off to
Yeah.
in the most broad, obnoxious way we can put it, where people will be confused. Early 2023 is about to pop the fuck off.
Okay. Well, that's
It'll be
fun.
New
fun.
Witch's Tongue is about to go crazy, and Sorry's gonna go crazy in the same time too. So
Yeah. It's
I'm
just
about
like
to be guns
back to
blazing,
back for you.
to say the least.
Are you worried
Jesus
about
Christ.
that burnout happening again?
I was in 10 bands at one point. To
Okay.
only focus on 2 compared to 10.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, and none of them in the same state either. So we do everything online via Discord servers or
Yeah.
messenger chats. Being that way, I can come home after work, not talk to anybody, come into my office and work by myself. I don't have to deal with the stress of like, I need dickhead band member A to show up at bar B so I can drive into my house and track fucking guitar tonight. Like,
Yeah.
it's easier now.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we've been recording for about an hour. I think we can call it a day. Feel free to promote anything you want. You've given us your time, so you get, the free ad space essentially. What do you want to promote?
I'm stoked that you guys had me. I've literally like I will make fun of myself. I've begged. I've been like, yo, fucking let me talk some shit. Shouts out Buff Corell for giving me the inspiration that I need on the daily. At Corell, CORRELL.
That's the first shout out you do is Buff Corell. What?
Everybody just clicked off the episode.
Shouts out Buff Corell for giving me what I need on the day to day. He just did a cover of fucking Crystal Castles. Like, let's go. I am a producer. I'm in a ton of bands. I'm for hire. If you like music and you need somebody to help you with the music, I record, I tour, I do the works, I help book tours, I do whatever I can to make the community a better place because sometimes music is really hard. You can find me at twitter.com/_KOTOSOUND Kotosound. I stream on Twitch. I'm on Instagram as Cute and Tired. Cute.
Oh, sorry. Headphone went out. Yep. Oh, okay,
It's just
back.
plugging. Oh yeah. I am releasing a ton of music with Sorry and New Witch's Tongue. I'm working on other music like anime style music. Streams, if you want leaks, I tell people all the time when I stream, I'm literally leaking all of the new music that's coming out. I've leaked New Witch's Tongue already. I recorded New Witch's Tongue album stuff on stream. So try and get in there if you want like the premium all access shit. I think that's all I have to plug. Yeah, just if you want the most unhinged platform, follow me on Twitter. I've got linktr.ee because they're stupid / KOTOSOUND Kotosound. Book me for a live session. Book me for your fucking recordings. Book me for your bar mitzvahs and your weddings. I'll be more of a presence in your wedding pictures than you want me to be. Let's go. I think that's all I got.
Okay. One last question. What do you think of What do you think of the band name Chicken Run Dreamcast?
Chicken Run Dreamcast. So the part of it that I like is the Dreamcast part. Because I feel like video game references and bands get lost to like the cheesy gimmick bands, and I think video game references and bands are sick.
What's that
Shouts out
fucking
Makoto.
what's that band? Head Kick or something like that? They used to make music videos for video games. They made the fucking outro song for Deadpool. That's the first thing I noticed was that fucking band.
Amazing.
Um, yeah.
No, I mean, it just gets crammed into the gimmick stuff. So I'd say the Dreamcast part, bands take the Dreamcast part. The other part, I'm gonna give it a thumbs down.
Chicken Run fan.
Not the Chicken Run. I mean, because if you're gonna do Chicken Run, you got to make a joke like Chicken Run for the PS2. If that was your full fucking band name, I'd respect the shit out of you all day. Because there was a Chicken Run game for PS2, so at least you're making a fucking reference. You're saying Chicken Run for PS2. That's what my fucking band name is. I'm here for it.
I would adapt that to Chicken Run on the PS2.
Exactly. Chicken Run on PS2.
Yeah. Well, thanks for answering that. Check us out at twitter.com/mutantpuke. We post stuff on Twitter sometimes, mostly just me trying to make it through the fucking day. Also, patreon.com/mutantpuke. We have weekly bonus episodes. Discogtopsy. Tolly Hall should be starting soon. Jamie is going to be our holy fuck, I almost did it again. Our new lore keeper. So she's gonna read Wikipedia for us. So I don't have to. But yeah, new Discogtopsy, new bonus pukes every other week. Yeah, patreon.com/mutantpuke. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you, Kealy, for joining us. And see you next time. See you next week. Episode.
I did.
You did? What do you mean?
The top 5.
No, what the fuck,
This
man?
episode.
We were just recording. I was doing an interview.
To who?
Kealy. me and Ivy were doing an interview with Kealy.
Just now?
Yeah, man. You're chewing really loud. What kind of sandwich is that?
I made a panini.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
That's so sick.
You have like a press?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, new Andre single at midnight. We gonna get the review?
No. Next time we're doing a review is the second week
Cardigans
of
and Split Ends, dog.
What?
You're not trying to review Cardigans and Split Ends?
I like
The banger?
Andreas. It's just not meeting the window. So